If you are new to our channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
Coming up on the program, we've had a garden fail and we're going to fix the problem. And we'll talk about looking at spots in your garden that you can maximize the space even though most things are full already. All that and more coming up today on the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener is sponsored by MyGardener.com with over 450 varieties of non-GMO, heirloom, organic flowers, vegetables, and herb seeds, all for 99 cents. MyGardener.com. HappyLeafLED.com, a commercial-grade grow light with a home gardener's affordability. All indoors, no fans, no motors, simply plug in and grow. Great for seed starting to lettuce to full-grown tomatoes. HappyLeafLED.com.
Sustain Natural Fertilizer, offering superior organic plant foods that deliver research-proven results, trusted by farmers, growers, and gardeners for 30 years. Learn more at sustain.com.
Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. I'm Joy Barrett. We are in the large garden, and we, unlike some people may believe, we actually have garden problems ourselves, and we've had a fail. We've got 3 60-gallon grow bags. We've got one that's got zucchini that's doing pretty decent, and we've had 2 here. We've got carrots we planted in this one, and beets we planted in that one that are not doing so well. So what we're going to do is redevelop or fluff the soil up, mix the soil in, add some fertilizer, and we're going to replant these beds. Just because we had beets in it before, they didn't establish enough. A few of them had very small seedlings in them, but it's not worth trying to save 2 or 3 plants and waste the space that we have. So we're going to plant a beet mix, which is a variety of delicious sugar content, natural sugar content beets that is a drought tolerant mixture. So what we're going to do, I got garden fork, and I've got weeds and stuff around the beds I'm not worried about. So I'm just going to go in here and I'm just going to flip all of this over and see what I've got. Now these particular grow bags do not have a solid bottom on them. They do have a net bottom on them, more designed for tree root development, but we do have roots growing up in there, which is minor. It's not a big deal. They do have units that have the solid bottom on them. So I'm just going to dig and fluff and remove the roots. We'll get the soil prepped, and then we'll get back in here and we will reestablish our beet beds. Alright, so I've got the soil flipped over, and I've just taken what I did earlier this spring was I went ahead and put a layer of leaves down and more compost, and that's what you're seeing, some of these leaves in here. It's good soil, good compost. The leaves are breaking down, got a little leaf mold going on there. So what I'm going to add is some Sustain 824, which is just going to help add nutrients to the soil. They have a 464 that will work as well too. So I know the applicational rate based on my hand. Okay, so now the next thing you got to do is just work it in the soil a little bit, a couple inches down. Now we do have some weeds growing, we'll get those removed. Okay, so I've added the fertilizer, just mixing it in. Just have to get it a little bit below the soil. Now you can plant these in a couple of different fashions. One, you can use square foot garden method, that's fine. You get the rest of these roots out. Or you can just do a traditional make a row, and that's what we're going to do, is just make drills. If you're going to go square foot garden method, it's going to be 9 per square foot. And if you're doing a regular, just like what we're doing here, rows, about 1 every 3 inches. You do have to thin these things out. Otherwise they're going to compete and they're not going to develop, and you're going to get lots of tops but no bulbs. Each one of these seeds is a cluster of 3 to 5 seeds. That's just how they grow. And you're going to take about 60 to 70 days to reach maturity. And you do have to thin these out again. You eating the greens are edible. The stalks I don't preferably care for those. And again, if you get more than one in a spot, it's a good opportunity that something you may have more than one plant. Not all seeds are going to germinate, no matter what the seed supplier is or how good the seeds are. So now they're all planted. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the back of the rake. You can also do it with your hand. And you just want about 1/4 to 1/2 inch of soil over top of these. They're going to grow if you get a little bit more or a little less. Not a really big deal. So utilizing the space or fixing the problems that have already existed to utilize the space so you can get production rather than waiting for a few plants to grow. That's wasting a lot of additional space. So there's a specific time of year in which garlic scapes occur. Garlic scapes only occur on hardneck garlic, and that's what we grow here in Zone 5A. It seems to do much better in the cold climates than softneck garlic, but you can grow softneck garlic in our area. So let's look at what a scape truly is. This is the garlic plant. This is the scape. It is the junction of growth that's coming out of the center. If left alone, this will grow and continue to get 2 or 3 foot tall and produce a very large flower that contains actual true garlic seeds. Now the disadvantage to that is it's taking a lot of energy that could be utilized for bulb development and putting it in reproductive means. You can plant those seeds, but those seeds take about 24 months. It's a 2-year cycle. When you just plant the a clove in October and harvest it in late June as we do, it's about a 9-month process. Very, very easy to do with the cloves versus the seeds. But we want to remove these scapes, and we want to cut it out at the junction in which it comes out there. Now this will grow another 2 or 3 inches, but that's about it. Again, we want to get rid of the scapes so the energy is dedicated and focused on the bulb development rather than the seed production development. Now what you can do with these, a variety of things. You can grind them up and make garlic pesto. They're very strong garlic flavors, so keep that in mind. You can just simply put this on the grill and grill it like that. You can saute it. It's a very acquired taste. If you want small amounts of garlic, then you want to go ahead and just do the bulb. But this has a very intense flavor of garlic, very juicy, very fresh. Get these about 2 weeks a year. So do not just cut these off and throw them away, but utilize them in the kitchen. Also, be sure you remove them, and you do see a tremendous difference versus the bulbs that have these left on them at the time of harvest versus the ones that we have harvested, cutting the scapes off. So there's a lot of places, even though our garden is filled to capacity, there's still other opportunities for us to fill in a few spots here, a square foot there. One is this spot here. We've got spring garlic back here, and this is where we had our parsnips and our parsley root planted. We used the boards to try to get better germination, and for whatever reason, they just didn't germinate very good. So this has been about 45 days. They usually take 30 days to germinate. They didn't come up. Am I disappointed? Yes. Am I going to try to replant them? Not at this point. I can utilize this spot for something else. Put a couple more tomatoes in here, a couple of peppers, maybe a yacon. I'm going to avoid root crops in the traditional garden because we found better success with them in the raised beds. But there's many options in which I can utilize planting something in this particular location. So this is one of our tomato patches here. And in the middle, I have planted leeks. I had a tremendous amount of extra leeks that I bought from Blue Mountains Landscape and Garden Center. So I put them down the center. Now, what also you can do in this application is actually put sunflowers down the center. You can start them from seed, you can just direct to sow them, and we've had really pretty sunflowers in amongst the tomatoes. So maximizing the sunflowers, if you're looking for sunflower seeds to eat, okay, or feed the birds, that's fine. With the leeks, you're going to maximize your space. You're actually getting what's called intercropping, but you're getting more productivity of edible consumption products out of the same bed. Another place that was kind of a fail, but we're utilizing the space is back here. We had peas back here next to our kohlrabi that we bought from Blue Mountains Landscape and Garden Center at the starts. The peas just were not doing very good. Something was eating on them. They were They were not growing very well. Here's just one example. They have good nitrogen nodules on the roots, but they just weren't growing. And at this point, they should have been about 2.5, 3 foot tall. And by early July, we typically are harvesting peas. Just didn't happen. So instead of sitting here trying to negotiate with the peas to grow and to try to figure out what's going on, it was better for us to remove them, and we put bush beans in its spot, because the bush beans will produce very heavily at 40, 60 days to reach maturity. We're produced for 2 to 3 weeks heavy, and their life cycle is over. Then we can pull them out and we can plant something else in that spot or replant more beans, whatever the case is. But that's another example of, just because a spot is not doing very well doesn't mean you have to just let it go for the year. Rip it out, plant something else in it that's going to produce much better and much more productive than what was there that was not doing very good. So let's go up and look at one more example of utilizing the space that we have. So here's another space that we can utilize. We've got onions here. This bed was filled with onions, but these have died off in this corner here. So I've got about 8, 9, 10 inches there and 2 foot here that we will put something in this bed that we can utilize. Maybe beets, maybe carrots or Swiss chard, something, but we won't leave this space dead. Now, whenever these onions come out, then that'll utilize the rest of this bed that we can either carry over and plant additional whatever we decide to put there over here, but maximizing the space of this raised bed is important, as well as all other spaces available. Thanks for joining me. Join me again next time for more organic gardening and food preserving. I'm Joy Barrett, and this has been the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.